Welcome, friends. My name is Avinash and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Corporate Face to Face series. Friends, in these episodes, we introduce to you emerging companies from emerging sectors, and we make it a point to talk to the promoters of such companies so that all of us can understand, such companies in a much better way. We try to talk to the promoters and ask them about their company's business model, their growth journey, what are the future plans, and in this process we get a lot of valuable information about the companies from the promoters. So today, friends, we have got a very interesting company which operates in the textile space and which is now going to hit the SME capital market very soon. The company's name is Piotex Industries Limited, and we have the privilege and pleasure of having the top management team. We have Mr. Abhay Asalkar, who's the chairman and managing director. Welcome, Abhayji. And we also have Mr. Yogesh Nimodia, who's the executive director and
Thank you,
CFO.
sir.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for sparing your valuable time. I'm quite sure that in this small interaction, we'll be able to understand your companies in a much better way, which will help all our viewers.
Thank you, sir.
So, Abhayji, first question to you, I think, which is very elementary and basic. If you could tell us, what is the business model of our company? I've read from the presentation and prospectus that we have a very unique business model. We have an asset light model. So, इसके बारे में कुछ बताइए. If you could tell us on the business model
Yes.
of the company, and secondly, how did this journey start? I believe both uh, Nimoshi as well as Abhayji, you all have been in the textile sector for a very long time. So is this a family run business or is it a first generation business? If you could tell us your journey, how did you get into this business so that that also will help us understand, your profile in a much better manner.
Thank you, Avinash for inviting us. We are very happy to share all the insights about the company, our journey, our expertization, and the most successful USP of this model, that light asset model. The way you correctly told that you gone through the prospectus and presentations of the company, but we are very happy to share that we are not a family. Myself and Yogesh, we are a textile engineer, also completed our MBA in marketing, and we had a close to 25 years experience in textile industry. We started career in 1998 from the big giant company like Raymond's, and had a various experience in India and abroad also in textile segments, particularly cotton spinning industry, denim industries, technological. From the journey of textile backgrounds and the corporate experience, we started business in 2012 and started with the technological solutions to the industry like retrofit technologies and the new innovations into textile industries, then services and import substitute to the textile industry. And slowly from the technological services to the industry. 1819 we shifted to, our focus was more to the contract manufacturing, like what Bisleri did or Britannia or the Parley. They have some units, but in the manufacturing with their USPs and the process control and the technological know-how, they had what India-wide their network in manufacturing. Same way, Piotex has entered into these segments with our rich experience of more than 25 years. Yogesh is a spinning, having highly technical brain for the company, and we develop a team which is very strong in sourcing the raw material, selling the goods, developing the product which a market need, a value-added product in textile industry, a quick fashions, which is a really a more appealing to the new generations into the fashion industries. And with the journey or where this industry as a role model, the way Oyo had do the due diligence and identify the hotels. They took the hotels on the long lease or on the contracts. They operate with their own network, strong network, with value addition to the industry, and they sell the asset. Same way we do it. We did in textile industry. We have where we operate on the contract manufacturing and trading basis, and we bring this model to the more successful because young first generation entrepreneurship like us have the sometime have limitation of the capex, but then the top line and bottom line can be achieved with innovative product, value for money products, focus on the product development for the fashion. And with this model, we started company in 2019, and now we close in March 24 with the turnover of 118 crore. And to grow this model further, we decided to have this IPO. This is what the brief about us and the journey.
I think very well articulated, Abhijit. Now, Abhijit, next question is, since we have a B2B business model, what are the kind of customers we cater to? If you could tell us some idea about the kind of B2B customers we cater to, specifically for cotton yarn and for cotton bales, which is the major part of our revenue as of now. So if you could share your thoughts on this.
See what happened, sir. India is the second largest cotton growing country on the earth worldwide. And that too in India, Maharashtra, MP, and Gujarat, these three states, which is the western and center part of India, having around 60-65% cotton production share. With these detailings, we thought we are in a center, we are in a logistic part region where the logistic cost is least and producing the cotton based textile is in the great demand. Our effectiveness, our competitiveness among the other competitor was good. So we had more wings into Maharashtra and MP. And with this advantages, and weaving hub also, this our product, cotton bale or cotton yarn, here end use is the weaving, manufacturing of fabric for fashion. And this weaving hub of India also in western and central India. So even for the end customer, manufacturing here and sending them to the same part of country is comparatively very attractive. So we are very competitive with the policies, and that too being into textile engineering since 25 years, we have in-depth knowledge of process control. We have good sharings of the customer base, vendor base for the product developments. With this trend, we are doing all this product range in cotton based textile.
Okay, understood. Tell me one thing that normally when you cater to your B2B customers, do you get, some sort of a commitment from the customers that this is the product they want? Cotton bales is one, but cotton fabric, I understand, is another, product. 22% of the revenue comes from that, business. So basically, is it, with a regular set of customers, you have got some, volume commitments and accordingly, you all supply to these customers, or is it on a kind of a customized basis, like you have customers, new customers also coming in, existing customers which are already there in your pipeline? So how do you ensure that existing customers are serviced, at the same time new customers are also found? Or is it like it is like a small customer base, the existing customer base itself is so large that you all don't have to move out of the existing basket? So if you could tell me something on this.
Okay, Yogesh can brief you more good because he is in directly touch with the customer.
Yeah,
I
fine.
request Yogesh, please.
Yes, thank you, sir. Actually, customer, we have, some set of existing customer where we get some volume orders. Even they give order for 1 month, 2 months, and we keep some provision for adding new customers so that we can again further expand.
Okay.
As rightly said, we are in asset-light model. So where expansion and contraction is, business is much easier and faster. Like if somebody want to set up a spinning plant, minimum 3 years is required, but in our case, we can expand within 3 months.
Yeah.
So we always search for new customer, addition of new customer, so that we can grow. Important is, if we have more working capital, we can grow much. We can increase our top line and bottom line much faster. Because in our case, we don't have to invest capital investment. For example, if somebody has to set up a plant of 25,000 spindle, in spinning we say in spindle, so it need capex of around 100 crore rupees. But
Exactly.
in asset light model, if we, identify contract with them, so it will be only, we need for working capital, which will be around 10 to 15 crore. So uh, as compared to other, we are, in that way, expansion and contraction of business. Or sometime in COVID, market was down, so we can reduce our, business, and we cannot, have fixed liability of managing the unit.
Understood. Understood. I think very
So
nice.
that is the reason we always search for new customers.
Yeah.
We can further.
No, no, I think Yogesh ji very nicely articulated by you. Now tell me one thing, Yogesh ji, since you take care of the customers, what is the normal pricing arrangement with our customers? Like assuming, cotton bale prices go up, like your main raw material is cotton. So, if prices go up, is there a clause where, there is a pass through, because ultimately y'all are an asset light business, but raw material cost is something which may sometimes be not in our control. So typically, how does the pricing work with the customers? Like, you get, let's say, a order of, let's say, 50 crores, and in between the supply of the complete order, the raw material prices go up. So in that case, do you have a clause where you can pass through the raw material cost partly or fully to the customer and ensure that your margins are protected?
No, in our case, usually, when we sell the yarn, like forward sale, the raw material also, so that we can, save as far as our margins are concerned.
Okay.
And in textile trade, normally, we honor the commitment. Once price is freeze, it will be honored by us as well as our customer. But normally, 90% case, we, back to back, we cover the raw material, so that we will be on safer side.
Oh, understood. Now, Abhayji, one interesting question is, typically, if I were to ask you, what is the size of the market opportunity for our company? Because, another interesting point which I read in the prospectus and presentation is that there are so many textile companies, which are sick. And as rightly it has been pointed out, it's a very capital intensive industry. So we have used a unique approach of having an asset light model. Now, tell me one thing, what is the size of the opportunity? We are today 118 crores. I'm not saying give me a number, but, in your sense, you have been managing this business for a long time. अगले 2-3 साल, like in the next say 3-4 years, what is the kind of growth available for us, and what is the size of the market? Because obviously you are trying to capitalize on your strengths by adopting an asset light model, but in terms of demand, this is a cyclical industry. It is a commodity based industry. So in this industry, what kind of growth do you foresee for our company in the next say 3 to 4 years? If you could just share your thoughts.
Yeah, sir, I can answer your question in a two part, because if you see in terms of the size of the market for this industry, I told initially in some questions, India is the second largest after China in terms of textile, particularly yarn and fabric. Garment may be a different proportionate, but if you see in terms of spinnerage capacity in the spinning industry, where our major business is there, which is around 50 million spindle capacity in India, which is a very huge. In that way, the Piotex, what we are doing is below 1%, less than that. But if terms of scope, there is a huge scope. But Yogesh told you in previous question, it's a highly capital incentive. But in our model, light asset model, we have at least 5 to 10 times product capacity, capacity we can increase, which is also important. How much team we have, vertical, horizontal, pyramid wise team we have, capability of our team, capability of the vendors and the customer which are in our present baskets, as well as which we are developing. At the same time, the product development trust, the new product, I told you, sustainable product. Nowadays, recycling is in demand. Some viscose based blends is in demand. Linen, hemp, the specialty fiber also coming into the demand. Because this new generation who have a lot of purchasing power, they need a fabric which is a very comfortable to their skin, their comfort, as well as it is a quick fashion. Every year, every 6 months, they need a new something, which was not the previous 5-10 years. When we were into the college days, 2 year or we were having one textile cloth collection. Every 6 months, 1 year, they need new. So along with this IPO, along with the top line and bottom line improvement, we as a company, we as a team also have trust. We will develop a sustainable product. We will develop the product which is value for money. We will develop the project which suits to the quick demand of quality fashions, quick fashion. So this is the range, and there is a lot of scope. If we have more money, if we have more capital incentive capacities, we can have a top line up to 500 crore also down the line 5-10 years, and even the very good bottom lines also.
No, understood. I think Abhijit nicely again told by you. Abhijit, now tell me one thing that we have a asset light model, which is a very big advantage for our company. Tell me in terms of the competitive landscape, are there many players which have adopted our business model, or are we one of the few who have taken up this method of actually servicing the textile industry? Number one, that is point number one. And secondly, in terms of the qualitative parameters, like financials, everybody knows, we have got the data points with us, but in terms of qualitative assessment, what is so special about us? That is it our execution? Is it our service? Is it something which is, the customer likes to do business with us for a particular reason? If you could, tell us 2-3 points which can highlight the qualitative positives of our company. So if you can please share your thoughts.
Yeah, basically, I can say that your question is what is our USPs, that why we succeed and why we are going to succeed. We already told this is not a family-owned business. This is the very hard-working, very highly 100% professionally managed. We both are textile engineers, MBA in marketing, also completed chartered engineering. Also, we have abroad experience. We work in the other country, Indonesia and other country for textiles. What we see when we want to be entrepreneur or we want to enter where our market share was zero, what we did analysis, what we did is secondary and primary market research. There is a product, there is a, when we were zero and now we are 118 and we want to grow 500, let's say, there is a market, there is a potential, there is a gap. But what we should understand what exactly the customer need. In last question, I told you now this young generation need a comfort. This young generation need a quick fashion. It may not be a very good fiber or may not be very good comfortable to the skin, but they are more interested to the fashion. So now in the same way, also here we know what customer need, what specification of the yarn or fabric they need, and we produce the optimum. We produce what other competitor is not producing, and but the customer like it. With these changes, with optimum specification, with optimum product, with the quick, we suit to the quick fashions, we are producing that particular product with that value. So these two, and because our technical know-how, process control, technical expertise of 25 years, I told Yogesh is a spinning expert. And with his knowledge of spinning process, with his knowledge of product development, with the team building last 10, 12 years, with these USP, with understanding of the market, understanding the pulses of the customer, the perception of the customers, we are producing what exactly they need. I mean, you can say a customized product for the customized market. And these are the USPs where we are competitive, we are qualitative, and we are gaining the market in top line as well as bottom line both.
Understood. I think very nicely again mentioned by you. Abhijit, now on the financial side, I just wanted to understand top line for FY24 has been very solid. You said 118 crores. Last year, I believe it was 88 crores. So there's been a very solid jump. In terms of profit, I wanted to understand, we have increased our profit to roughly 3 crores from last year's number of 2.88 crores. So I was just wanting to know, sir, top line growth to both badhiya hai, revenue has grown very smartly. What was the reason the profit grew by just 20 lakhs? So, was there some extraordinary charge or some expenditure which actually restricted our profit? Because, we are doing an asset light model. So obviously our depreciation is not very high. Top line growth is there. So any specific reason why the profit was more or less flattish? First point number one. And secondly, sir, in the current year, now the new year has started, FY25, again, without mentioning any number, what is the feeling you are getting from the ground? How good will this year be? That is for FY25, can we expect a decent kind of top line growth? Will margins improve? If you could just share your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I will add. Actually, last year, our business is more of depend on the raw material, which is around 70-75% of total manufacturing cost. So it is because of that, we are able to manage the top line. But bottom line was last year was little bit because of election years and all global scenario like Ukraine war or Hamas and all.
Okay.
So because textile industries again depend on the export of cotton, yarn and fabric. So because of all this global scenario and election in India, there was some pressure on bottom line. But then also we are able to achieve the top line, which was our main focus because bottom line we can even improve in the days to come. Almost we improved our bottom line by 35-40%, top line.
Okay.
Whereas bottom line because of all this scenario. And again, as far as next finance is mainly depend on working capital requirement. So after this IPO and all, we'll have good potential to grow, and we are expecting very good growth in top line as well as bottom line. And days to come, I think we can expand in multiple time in maybe next 2, 3, or 4 years.
I think understood. I think this gets me to the most important question for this interview. Abhijit, if you could tell us something on the forthcoming IPO, what is the size of the IPO? What is the purpose we are raising money? If you could just share your thoughts, please.
So the IPO size is 14.47 crores. And as rightly said, in our case, we are light asset model where if we have more working capital, we can acquire more unit, we can expand. So main purpose of this IPO is the working capital requirement. So bottom line can be further improved.
Okay. So basically, this entire IPO
And
is
also our aim is to have new product development as Abhay said.
okay. Okay. Fine.
As Abhay rightly said, we are also planning for some new product development like linen base, hymns, and all sustainable to come.
Yeah. Okay. Yogesh ji, now coming to the working capital cycle, if you could tell me, normally what is the broad working capital cycle in our business? From the time you get the order, you execute it, you give it to the customer pays you back. What is the normal working capital cycle in our business?
It is around 2 to 3 years, 2
So working capital
to 3
cycle,
months, our normal money back.
yeah. So is it
Yeah,
about
please.
60 to 90 days? I mean, if I can understand it properly.
60 to 90 days, yes.
Okay. And typically, when you get an order, do you book the cotton at that point of time? For example, you get a 25 crore or 50 crore order, just to ensure that you don't have more inventory in your system. Do you have this kind of arrangement? Like as soon as the order comes, you book the raw material, that is the cotton, and then obviously start into the production mode? Or do you plan, do some sort of, inventory planning, like orders are going to come, so you stock cotton so that, that helps you to run your production in a better way. So how do you manage that?
Yeah, in cotton business or yarn business, we can do the forward booking also. Like we can plan the deliveries, but certain quantity we book forward, certain it depend on the yarn order booking. Accordingly, we cover the cotton, so that there should not be any because cotton is commodity, it can varies, rate can varies. So we usually cover the cotton, whatever yarn booking is there or finished product booking is there, so
Okay.
that we can be safe and we can increase our margin.
Okay.
So many times we can have forward booking, like Cotton Corporation of India is there, that is government organized body where we can book forward, or some other multinationals,
Okay.
or some local supplier.
So understood. We come to the last question, Abhijit. Now, as a promoter of this company, we normally ask this to all the promoters. If you leave alone COVID, COVID was an experience which was one of the most rarest of experiences. But otherwise, in our business, what is the normal risk in our business, and how have you managed to ensure that this risk is mitigated properly? We still stay profitable. So, I just wanted to understand, is it only the raw material risk in our business or any other risk which you think is important for us?
See, sir, the beauty of this business, रोटी कपड़ा और मकान, जो इनिशियली भी बोला जाता था, जब हमारा देश स्वतंत्र हुआ तो the first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has given the direction in the first financial meetings of the country कि भाई रिजर्व बैंक को बोलो हमारी जो बैंक है कि पहले प्लेस लोन दो. आज राइस है, गेहूं है, कपास जो भी बेसिक चीजें ह्यूमैनिटी 3 महीने 4 महीने 5 महीने कोई चीज आता है जबकि हमको उसको साल भर रखना है तो प्लेज लोन और द वेयरहाउसिंग लोन वाज द फर्स्ट लोन व्हिच इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय द our independent government. You know, with these intentions from the day one or many decades in the industry, इतनी ब्यूटी है इस बिजनेस में, टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री में कि जब तक ह्यूमन है तब तक उसको रोटी कपड़ा मकान लगना है. तो वी आर इनटू दिस सच इंडस्ट्री वेयर डिमांड कैन बी फ्लक्चुएट but there is no dye. It is required for handkerchief से लेके यूएस के प्राइम मिनिस्टर व्हाइट हाउस का कोई सूट भी ले लो उसके लिए टेक्सटाइल की जरूरत है. तो ये इंडस्ट्री नेवर डाइंग इंडस्ट्री है. Margins can be fluctuate, but the way Yogesh told, we never take a risk in booking forward raw material and the finished good together. And we have the light asset model, so interest cost is comparatively less than the other competitor. We are the textile engineer having more than 25 rich experience. So we know we have the command on the process control. With all this USP, we find always the good days, and we are very optimistic, very positive about the industry outlook of textiles. And there is in every sector there is a good example, successful example, unsuccessful examples. We have to study very smartly how the people did, why they succeed. If somewhere, some point of out, there is some unsuccessful case study, that also we need to be study very properly, very carefully. Experience in service, in industry, in business, we found if we control money, every single money saved is a money earned. We have control on process control proper. We have control and command on the purchases and the sales of the product. And if we run the industry in a very efficient way, then there is no chance of any negative risks. There is always a margin. मार्जिन कैन बी फ्लक्चुएट. बोलते हैं ना कि प्रॉफिट में क्या थोड़ा प्रॉफिट कम हो सकता है या प्रॉफिट में प्रॉफिट बढ़ सकता है, बट देयर इज अ वेरी लेस चांस और नो चांस टू हैव नेगेटिव. सो वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक, वेरी पॉजिटिव. एंड द ओवरऑल इफ यू सी वी आर सेकंड लार्जेस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड अमंग 200 कंट्री, अमंग 800 मिलियन पॉपुलेशन ऑन दिस अर्थ. वी आर मोर देन 150 करोड़ पॉपुलेशंस. So we are the largest market in the worldwide for any product, and same in textiles. And the टेक्सटाइल्स फ्रॉम द इंडिया नाउ फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट यूके के साथ हमारा चल रहा है. एंड टेक्सटाइल होम टेक्सटाइल इज द लार्जेस्ट, वी आर लार्जेस्ट सप्लायर टू द यूएस आल्सो. सो विद दिस ऑल फिगर्स, विद ऑल दिस रियल फिगर्स फ्रॉम एचएसएन कोड एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट डाटा, वी हैव वेरी गुड फ्यूचर. आवर इंडस्ट्री इज गोइंग गुड, टेक्नोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट इज गुड. 10 साल पहले ये होता था कि 80% मशीन्स हमारी इंपोर्ट होती थी टेक्सटाइल की. नाउ देयर आर मेनी मशीन्स very few machines which we can count on. Is we are manufacturing technology, commodity is there, manpower is there, skills, engineers we have, raw material we have, our soil conditions are good, water quality is good which is required for the textile processing. We have good yield every year in the cotton per acre. So with these all positive figures, government policies are also very good now. Very industrial policies are also improving. With this outlook, we are very optimistic. Margins and the top line are going to be industry for all the players who are serious entrepreneur like us, who did only for textile from the day when till last. For serious and sincere entrepreneur, there is a growth and only growth in textile industry.
I think very nicely articulated, Abhayji. In fact, please accept my congratulations, best wishes for you as well as your entire management team, and best wishes for your forthcoming IPO also. Sir, thank you very much, and we'll definitely be in touch in future also. Sir, namaskar.